Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Bob Power, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from Phenom Resources Corporation. Before I introduce our speaker, please note to submit your questions in the question box to the left of the slides. And as a reminder, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Paul Cowley, President and CEO of Phenom Resources, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol PHNMF and on the TSXV under the symbol PHNM. Welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you very much, Bob, and hello, everyone. Great to be here. And Bob, I'm loving this in that we've got a company here that's tailor made for this virtual conference. This is green energy as well as precious metals, and that's exactly what we cover in Phenom Resources. So I'm loving this. So thanks very much for everybody for joining. Introduce myself, Paul Cowley, President and CEO of the company, and we've got a project in Nevada that's got green energy and gold on it, our Carlin Vanadium Gold Project. And I'll tell you a little bit about vanadium because it's very, very important, I think, in our future, in particular this decade, and going forward with the electrification of the world. I want to really hit home with that this is the stage is set for vanadium to rock. And then we've got a gold bonus to that with underneath it because we're in the Carlin gold trend. So let me carry on with our presentation here. I will be making forward-looking statements. So introducing our company, we are quite unique. And we are listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange and the OTC, headquartered in Vancouver, Canada, but we have an office in Elko, Nevada. Roughly 40% American shareholders, 55% Canadian, and about 5% European. As I say, we've been focused in Nevada. We've been focused there for 5 years. We've spent over $16 million on this flagship property, and it's obviously a great jurisdiction to be working in. We've got very, very motivated, very experienced senior level people, technical people that are advancing this project, looking for discovery as well on the gold. Where the project is located in northeastern Nevada, right in the Carlin Trend, which is obviously a tremendous producer of gold. And what's kind of very unique about this property is that it's got a vanadium. It's like a two stacked system where you have a vanadium resource right at surface that's potentially open pittable, and a gold system that's below it, about 1,000 feet below it, or 300 meters below that. So it's quite unique in that respect. Now the vanadium part is more advanced. It's got a PEA, or a preliminary economic assessment, with it, and it's the largest, highest grade primary vanadium resource in North America. So it's a very significant deposit, both geopolitically and economically. Our near-term goal is to advance that vanadium resource to a pre-feasibility study and also target a high-grade gold discovery underneath it. And interestingly enough, we're advancing that gold initiative by Dave Mathewson, who's a legend in the gold space in the Carlin Trend. Our midterm goal is to become a leading supplier of vanadium to the emerging large energy storage battery market. Currently we're trading at about 39 cents, I believe, Canadian, 90 million shares outstanding, with about $300,000 in the treasury at the moment. But in the next 2 months, we have warrants that are at 26 cents that we're likely to be coming in and funding us. That would be an amount of about another $1.6 million. You can see our performance over the last 12 months. We've been sort of up and down between sort of the 35 to 60 cent range. Last year, of course, we were doing much better. Everyone was experiencing that erosion till till October, and then we started picking up again, and we got up into the 50-cent range. The last month has been, I think, difficult for everybody. It's been low volumes, generally speaking, that's bringing us down, but I think that is just a temporary thing for ourselves. Just mentioning again the idea of this conference, the green energy as well as precious is very topical for having both, and it works very much in our favor too. We have the vanadium PEA level vanadium resource, which is the backbone of our asset base, and a very legitimate opportunity to discover a Carlin style high grade gold deposit underneath the vanadium resource. Now, we anticipate that both the vanadium space and the gold space are going to be very, very positive this year. So we're making movements to spin out our gold assets, and so that we remain as a primary vanadium player. That makes it a little bit simpler for investors. Then I want to turn to vanadium and give people an understanding of this is a market that people really should know about it, because it's early stages, but it's going to explode here in this decade. Now, the context is that with the electrification of the world, the battery storage is going to be vital for the future for everyone. Now, there's two battery markets. There's the EV space, which is enormous, but there's also a stationary battery market, which is more commercial, more industrial for solar, wind, grid power, backup modulating grid power. Both are enormous. In fact, I think that the stationary battery market is going to be double the size of the EV market here by the end of this decade. What's really important here is that we're expecting to see this stationary battery market to grow somewhere between 10 and 30 times before the end of this decade. I've got a graph that's going to show you that. And it's going to be double the EV space. This is an enormous area. We're going to be a part of that. And the U.S. wants to be a leader in the development of battery supply chains, and both the lithium and other battery supply chains like ourselves. So there's billions of dollars that the U.S. federal government is putting towards investing in projects like this. So I think we're very, very well positioned, considering that we're the largest, highest grade primary vanadium resource in North America. So it's a very strategic project. Vanadium is not produced in the U.S., mostly coming from China and Russia, 75%. So it's very, very important that the U.S. does have its domestic sources. So the future, I think we're really on the very, very start of this enormous market that vanadium is going to be a part of. Vanadium batteries are superior to the lithium batteries in that space. I'll talk about that momentarily. But on the left-hand side of the graph, that's a projection of the commercialization of the vanadium redox flow battery by a group called Guidehouse Insights. This was done in 2021. We're seeing that 2022 and 2023 are living up to expectations, if not more than what this plot has predicted. And that was before, when they did these predictions, it was before the U.S. government started throwing, millions, billions of dollars into supply chains, battery supply chains. So I think that growth of the vanadium redox flow battery is very real, very reasonable. In fact, it might be underestimating going forward, but you can see how this is going to take off. And what we're seeing actually is we've been talking about this for like 5 years, that vanadium should be taking off. The batteries should be commercializing. In fact, it has been, but we're not really hearing much about that in the media. What we're seeing in the last 5 years is China has really been very quietly building these vanadium batteries in place, and they have huge orders for more and more of these batteries. So while the rest of the world has been sleeping, they're actually the world is just kind of waking up to this, and projects are being built. Vanadium battery projects are being built around the world, but China is like 5 years ahead of everybody else in the build out. So this is really, really important to know that we're really just on this start, and this is the time to get in on an early stage trend that's not going to slow down. Talk about the advantages of the vanadium redox flow battery. They're much safer, they're cheaper, and they're recyclable or have much longer life to the vanadium battery, the lithium battery. The vanadium battery has a life span of at least 25 years, and that vanadium does not degrade like the lithium batteries do in like 7 years. You got to throw it away and buy another one. That vanadium is repurposed, so it's non-destructive, and you can repurpose in a say a more modern vanadium battery. So this is a really, I think, a very appealing. It appeals to me as a sustainable guy. I want the world to be, any projects to be sustainable going forward. This is one that's really an unusual metal that is sustainable. Where usually metals are consumed and then that's it. It's not the vanadium batteries are non-inflammable. You're seeing a lot of problems with lithium batteries, e-bikes and cars, and even some of these larger batteries that have gone in solar and wind farms that have gone to the large lithium batteries, and there's massive fires that are going on. So that is a real problem that obviously lithium or the vanadium battery prevents from happening. So now let me turn to our project. We're in northeastern Nevada. Tremendous infrastructure. We're basically 10 kilometers or 6 miles from I-80, from the towns of Carlin, Elko. This is a mining country, tremendous opportunity, support, and vendors in this area. And we even have state and county political support for our project. So we've got a lot going for us in the infrastructure and locally. The vanadium resource is in this valley. You can see a picture of it. This is like a perfect situation of an open pit. The open pit would be lying in this valley, a long northerly trending valley that the vanadium lies in. It's all a good sized resource. It's a large deposit that is open ended. We did some drilling last year that it showed that there's more to it, and we're going to spend some time and money drilling further, expanding the resource. So that's one of our efforts this summer. It's a relatively flat-lying vanadium bed that's generally about 100 feet thick, and near surface within the top 200 feet. So it's a really shallow open pit. And the metallurgy that we've done it shows that we can get about 80% of the vanadium out of the rock, which is very good. Now we did a PEA, an economic assessment in 2020. It's a fairly high capex, but we see opportunities of bringing that down. One of those would be to actually get a U.S. grant of $100 million, which we've applied for. U.S. federal government from Department of Energy. We've applied for that. We're hoping that we can get that. There's engineering work that we can bring that capex down as well as on the OPEX. The operating costs are quite low here. They're around $5 a pound. And let me move to the next slide to show where we stand. This is the cost of all the other vanadium producers around the world, and how much it costs them to produce a pound of V2O5. And we're in that lower quartile, around $5 a pound, where all these other competitors and miners are going to cost more. So that gives us a good competitive edge. I'm going to turn now if you like that story on the vanadium, which is obviously great future for us this decade and beyond. We think that we have a mineable project that's 16 years plus. we think if we can expand the resource, it's going to be bigger. But if you like that project, you're gonna also love this bonus of the gold that's underneath the vanadium resource, because we're in the Carlin Gold Trend, which is one of the most prolific gold mining districts on the planet. That's where Newmont Barrick operate. And we have, as I mentioned, Dave Mathewson before. We've engaged Dave Mathewson. He's a legend in the gold space. He's found multiple gold deposits, many within 5 miles from our project. Dave is very, very well known and respected. Knows how to find these deposits. He's found 6 of them, as well as made tremendous contributions to Newmont and their understanding of the Carlin Trend, and that's why Newmont and Barrick are now Nevada Gold Mines are doing mining for so long underground, because of the understanding that Dave helped develop. Our project is in the southern part of the Carlin Gold Trend. On the the left-hand page figure, it shows where our property is relative to about 9 million ounces of gold in the southern part of the trend, and they're all lining up along these north, south, and northwest trending structures. That's the plumbing system of the Carlin Gold Trend. We're on one of those. Dave recommended us to drill underneath the vanadium resource, and sure enough, that gold system is there in the right kind of rocks. It's an analogy to the gold quarry deposit, which is a 40 million ounce gold deposit. We are in the right stratigraphy that hosts these monster type deposits at a reasonable depth. We did geophysics that showed a plume of sulfides. That's what the colors that you're seeing on the map. You can see a trend of that we've been drilling. This system is 6.5 kilometers long and 4 miles long, half a kilometer wide, and we've been narrowing down on a high grade root system. That's where we are right now. Is that the last 2 holes that we did last year showed extremely good features of being near a root system, and so we're gonna be drilling this summer as well, the gold system, and continuing to that. We also picked up just this week a gold project called the Crescent Valley. It's an epithermal one, and it's very strategically located as well. It's about 15 miles to the west of us. It's still on the fringes of the Carlin Gold Trend, so that's so important. Location, location, location. Like in real estate, is so important in geology, and it's a very, very big quartz vein system that would be sort of a bonanza type target, very much like the Sleeper deposit that was a very high grade half ounce type deposit. So I want to spend the last couple minutes here talking about our plans and our catalysts for 2023, because I think this is going to be a very good year for us. I think we've got a lot on our plate as catalysts. So first, on the vanadium side, we're going to enhance the resource to lower the capex, working towards a pre-feasibility for aiming for early next year to start that. We're going to be doing, in the meantime, we're going to be doing selective engineering studies that look to reduce the capex and opex. We're drilling to increase the size of the resource so that we've got the best number going forward. We're seeking U.S. federal grant money. We're also seeking working relationship with battery manufacturers, which are making some headway on that. And we're also advancing a couple of other vanadium acquisitions that we're hoping that will complete in the next couple of months here. So lots happening on the vanadium side. On the gold side, we're looking to do further work on our gold efforts with Dave Mathewson at the helm. Advance the Crescent Valley epithermal one on a modest basis. we're still looking for selective acquisitions that Dave Mathewson has his eye on as well. And then through the rest of this year, we're going to be also completing this gold and a copper spin out, where we spin out all of the gold assets and a copper asset to the Phenom shareholders. So lots and lots of catalysts for 2023. So that pretty much concludes the presentation. I'm gonna turn everything to the questions now. I'm gonna go to let me. There's a question about the estimated time for the spin out. It's a work in progress. We're thinking that we would like to get another hole or two in the gold system before we do the spin out. I think I think that would be advantageous to the shareholders. So aiming for the fall for the spin out. What's the rationale for the June 2021 name change? Basically, we were first Vanadium, and obviously we're not Vanadium alone. We're Vanadium and gold, so we wanted to let people know that we're not just Vanadium. So that was the rationale behind that. Another question here: other companies have already shown interest in. Oh, have other companies shown interest in Phenom Resources? Yes, I can't disclose any further on that. What are the factors behind your low cost of production? We spent two years with some brilliant metallurgists in our group as well as others that worked out the process. There's a number of steps with it, but it succeeds with 80% recovery. I think obviously mining at 1 million tons a year is also sort of a scale of operation that helps in lowering that operating cost. Next question. What is the state of the vanadium battery market? Well, I kind of covered that. What's interesting is that it's like I say, it's heating up. We've got in February there was an announcement that there were 4 new battery manufacturers from Asia that were going to be building vanadium battery factories in the U.S. So there was 2 from South Korea, 1 from Japan, and 1 from Singapore. So these guys have been they're setting up shop because they know that there's going to be a big market in the U.S. that they want to fill, and there's tax credits that the U.S. federal government has put in place for these kinds of things. So that setting is ramping up for sure. On what basis are the vanadium and battery assets going to be valued in the spin-out company? That I can't. At this point, we haven't worked all those out. There's obviously share price movement, new developments that are going to come into place both on the vanadium and the gold side of things. So it's a little bit early to start talking about it. Other than the Phenom shareholders are going to be the shareholders of this gold company and copper company. On a pro rata basis. So that can, let's see if there's any other questions. That seems to be all the questions here. So so thank you very much for having the opportunity to present. As I say, I think we've got a very good year in front of us here with all the catalysts that we have that are in front of us. There's money coming to us from our warrants that are going to exercise, and so we got an aggressive program on vanadium and gold, looking to and appreciate all the shareholder support that we've had up until now. So everyone have a great day, and thank you very much.